Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. So, Tyson, we kind of knew that we're going to have to talk about the Tush Push one way or the other here because you got the owners' meetings that are taking place here in Minnesota. And Diana Rossini, she's telling your Tush Push is getting banned, blah, blah, blah. And then what happens? The Tush Push does not get banned. They're 2 votes short. We'll talk about the Jeffrey Lurie speech. We'll talk about kind of Jason Kelce going in there and what it means going forward. But what did you think of this bit of news that came out and just headline that says Tush Push not banned?
First, during the opening the day, I was like, for sure, this thing is they're not going to let it out because look, the Green Bay Packers proposed this and they're catching a lot of hate and rightfully so, I guess. But Roger Goodell wants to play out the league. The Buffalo Bills want the rule change because they lost in the playoffs again. They do whatever it takes. We've been labeling this organization as soft for 10 years, and every time they lose, they just want the rules to be changed. It's not fair. So I think as much as the Packers are the face of this thing, I think this is from the league. Like it was 16-16 a couple months ago, and then Roger Goodell decides they're going to table it and come back and vote again. That seems a little interesting to me. But I was like, cool, they get another year to use it, and then it'll be banned next offseason. And I don't know if we're going to get into the numbers and all of that stuff, but the Eagles were 9th in the league on 3rd and 4th, 1-2 with 1, 2, and 3 yards to go. And so they're the face of this because they kind of pioneered the play. And, 2022, everyone was like, what is going on? And then, the Ravens figured out you could run it with Mark Andrews. The Packers run it with Kraft sometimes. And there are other ways. But it is funny to see, this 92%er thing from the New Heights podcast has permeated into people's brains where it's like, it's unstoppable. The Eagles can never not get a first down or a touchdown when they do this.
Well, I thought it was funny because, the Eagles, their admin was cooking people online of their official social media account. The admin had a great day, immediately on their YouTube channel, 24 minutes of the Tush Push, 26. Just an elite troll job, 26 minutes. But then the Bucs, which I thought was interesting, on their own social media account, they're like, oh, this is how you stop the Tush Push. And it was them stopping the Tush Push, right? And so it's like right, you just need that. But everybody's talking about it's just this unstoppable play. But we've seen QB sneaks get stopped in the past. Now this is like a supercharged QB sneak. But Tyson, we are literally we're recording this in May. So if you're watching this later, how many months? 4 months, I guess, from the playoffs, from the freaking Buffalo Bills not being able to get a first down on a QB sneak. These are not unstoppable plays. Now the Eagles just happen to have a quarterback who squats 1 million pounds every he's heard.
And the left side of the line that moves somebody 4 yards off the ball.
So it's a recipe for success. But I thought the interesting part too, and I think this is kind of where we're going to want to get into, or at least I do, is the notion of banning this play was always ridiculous. It was just a cop-out and soft because, one team does something better than the other. It's like, I'm not going to complain if I'm the Cleveland Browns, maybe we shouldn't allow forward pass because I don't have Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Just because you suck at it doesn't mean you let's legislate this out of the game. It's dangerous. There's no evidence of anything being more dangerous to a player in that situation than playing the game of football, which is inherently dangerous. So that was a cop-out. And then lastly, Tyson, the thing that just pissed me off the most, the fact that you guys had to run and cry because, this team's doing it, and they're good. If the Jags were doing it with successful,
nobody cares.
Been the same thing. No, it's because the Eagles do it. They're unstoppable, and they're winning. And that's why it's no, we can't allow that to happen anymore. Completely ridiculous. I'm glad it didn't get banned.
Well, the safety angle, I think, is probably the most ridiculous part of this whole thing. And you can show the numbers that show that it's not any more dangerous than any other play. But the Philadelphia Eagles wouldn't run it as much as they do if they thought they were going to hurt their quarterback that they paid $250 million to. Let's use our heads a little bit here. You don't think the Eagles trainers and coaching staff is aware of, maybe this wouldn't be great to do with Jalen Hurts? He's never been hurt on the play. And so the safety angle, right, let's stay on that. The Philadelphia Eagles opponents in the upcoming year voted 13-1 to ban this play. The team that didn't is Dan Campbell's Lions. It's football, baby. I'm not going to go ban this. So does that mean that of the 17 other teams that voted, and that went 9-8, the teams the Eagles play are the only ones that care about player safety? Get all the way out of here. This doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And I do think it's funny that is a framing of it. It's like Dan Campbell had like no say in this whole thing too, because it's all the ownership. So it's like, the coach is sitting there like, you guys are going to make us look soft out here because you guys are voting to get rid of this.
That's the hilarious thing too. Like the Dolphins are getting a lot of love for voting no on the ban, and it's like, Ross and Lurie are like best friends. Like, right. Hey, we're going to call in a favor. Or, I heard on the PHLY podcast yesterday that the assistant general manager for the New Orleans Saints was usher at Nick Sirianni's wedding. And so this thing is like so much more involved than, just saying, Matt LaFleur is being soft or whatever. But we do have clips of Sean McVay telling us this play is dangerous and not fair and blah, 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 after they lost the Eagles twice in the season. It's just kind of one of those things where it was illegal for a long time. And it's been legal for like the last 8 years, I think, or 9 years, whatever it is to, aid the ball carrier and push them. The Eagles just started doing it in 2022. Like, figure out how to start. Like, if nobody else was doing this before, it's because nobody else could do this. And so now, it took, I said, Jordan Mailata showing up and teaching everybody how to play rugby. Like, if that's the angle you want to run with or whatever it is. But Jeff Stoutland is the best offensive line coach and the run game coordinator. The Philadelphia Eagles were going to convert quarterback sneaks without the push at a higher rate than everybody else in the league. And if you watch the games, the play is made before people even get their hands on Jalen most of the time. Now, at the goal line, it's a little different. But when it is 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, that's a 3-yard gain.
The thing that was illegal before is the pushing in the back of the ball carrier when they have the ball. Now, it's not just in goal line and short yardage goal line situations, right? Like, that's what the Eagles have made famous, I guess, for lack of a better term. But we see this every single time on Sunday when the ball carrier has the ball and gets stood up, and then the linemen come in and just pound them forward. Now, to me, that's more dangerous than the short yardage situation because you actually have full speed. Now, nobody talks about that, but that's what actually looks more like rugby than the short yardage situations when you're actually down short and you just push forward. Because Jordan Mailata, probably we want to actually ask the guy who played rugby if this is a rugby play. So we said, it's rugby. And he's like, no, this isn't close to rugby. So, that was driving me nuts too. Now, the other thing, and lastly, I kind of want to get into the whole Lurie thing and kind of how he got to the fact that it wasn't banned, which I think a lot of people were shocked about. What are we going to see this more going forward from other teams now? Like, is there now the ban itself or the vote to ban was by the ownership level, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is the owner meetings. It has to come from the owner level, all 32 teams, and the votes there. But was there something, it's not aesthetically pleasing, blah, blah, blah? Are owners telling their coaches, we don't want to run the tush push because we don't like the looks of it or whatever? Do you think that had anything to do with that? Like, are we going to see more coaching staffs now be like, oh, well, it's not banned. Like, let's run it now. Like, you know what I mean? Are we getting to that point, or is it going to be completely separate from each other, in your opinion?
I think probably a little separate. I think the good teams will run it. Like, the Lions don't run it. The Commanders don't run it, and they're really good on, especially like the Commanders just had one of the best 4th down seasons of all time. How many times did Jaden Daniels line up under center and get shoved? How many times did Zach Ertz go in motion? Like, it was cute and funny and awesome for everybody when the Chiefs had the Belldozer and Blake Bell was going to take the snap and get shoved in the end zone. And they only did it a couple times a year. And then the Eagles were like, hey, we could do that every single we could have 1st and 9 pretty much whenever we want. And you can, chastise Philadelphia for doing this, or you can get with the program. Like, if Buffalo could run it, they would have had the pleasure of playing the Super Bowl. But that's the reality of the situation. There's a handful of quarterbacks, and like the fact that the Colts can't run this, dude, like that might be a bigger indictment on Anthony Richardson than anything, or maybe even Shane Steichen. It's like, what are we do? You can't go behind Quentin Nelson and just get shoved in the back by Jonathan Taylor. You're 6'5", 280 pounds, man.
I know. I'll be curious to see this, and I think especially because it's like, I think this puts Matt LaFleur and the Packers in a tough spot, because if they start running the tush push, it's like
they ran it.
That's the other thing too, and because again, this wasn't LaFleur, and everybody's framing it as like, oh, LaFleur and the Packers. It's like, no, it's Mark Murphy and like the ownership group
and all the fans.
Group. All the fans, yeah, they're voting. They're sending in their little votes. So they get a little email, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's vote against this." No, it's the executive team is like, "Well, actually, we don't like this." And then freaking LaFleur is like, "You guys are making me look soft out here, man." So I'll be curious to see. Like you said, right? We have seen the short yardage tush push from the Packers. Now, it would be all-time epic if they just literally carbon copied what the Eagles did. They're like, "Whoa, if the Eagles could do it, we can do it." But then you got to answer more questions. I'll be curious to see kind of what happens here. I think that'll be a storyline going into next season. let's close here. If you're not an Eagles fan, we're going to get a little more Eagle-centric here. And Tyson are going to launch a podcast branched off of I Said What I Said in the same family. A little bit more Eagles focused for you Eagles fans here, because as you can see, we have the flags, we got the posters, all that good stuff. So if you're not an Eagles fan, these last couple minutes here, you can go ahead and turn it off. But the fact that Jeffrey Lurie went to the mattresses, as they say, and took on the rest of the league, Tyson, I'm like, yes, that is my guy. That's the type of owner. And we are fans of teams and other sports where the ownership group feels like they don't care, where it doesn't feel like they know what they're doing. To see Jeffrey Lurie go up and have an hour-long speech where he's looking at his peers and basically giving them the middle finger and say, no, F you, I'm the winner here. We're the winners. You can't take that away from me. You just want to stop us because we did something you guys can't do. And I'm like, yes. And that's Philadelphia. That's what the city's about. And, man, as an Eagles fan, that made me just smile and be proud of old Mr. Lurie.
And on top of it, presenting the flip side, like, okay, you guys want to ban the play? Like, playing to the ego of billionaires, you just turned my team into immortals. You just said that we did something so well that you couldn't stop it and you had to get it removed from the rules in order to play with us. There's 9 other guys in that room right there that were just like, oh, I can't let him get this. I can't let him win this. And then you got Jed York piping up apparently after like a half hour. How much longer are you going to talk? Jed, ask your team. They haven't shut the fuck up for 2 years. Like, it's been 2 years. You haven't won it. You're the one, piping up with this. And then they have Kelsey come in and give the impassioned speech because I'm blanking on the Bills owner's name right
Terry
now.
Pagula.
Yes, and Pagula used Jason Kelsey's like throwaway comments on his podcast for a reason why the Tush Push could be banned, because it's impossible to comprehend that a 36-year-old undersized center would want to, continue playing football in the future, and he only retired because of the Tush Push. It's like everybody's twisting everything as far as they can. The only one, honestly, that I really respected, people are mad at Jerry Jones for saying what he said. That's what it is. Like, he's telling the truth. He's saying, I don't know how much I dislike the play, but I don't like the Eagles. And that's fine. Like, we're at the competition committee. It's a competition. Yes. Like, he's the one saying the quiet part out loud, and 21 other guys didn't have the guts to come out and do it. So they had to, it's not really safe. And we don't know. Our coaches don't like it and all this stuff. And like, how many, do you think Raheem Morris is looking at Arthur Blank? Like, what do you say fuck me for?
Yeah, that's the problem, man. And the last thing, Troy Vincent. You're trying to chastise the guy who wrote you a check for 8 years because he said, like, a teenage boy having a wet dream. My goodness, man. Like, come on, we are adults. And he's like, well, the women, I'm pretty sure they've heard worse. They work in football, for Christ's sake. Like, this is not
only do they work in football, Brad, this is like, we learned about this in middle school. Like, what are you talking about?
It's a sex education thing. Like,
some of these women probably have teenage sons at home. Like, what are you talking about? It's crazy. And then, the classic little white knight move, point out all the women in the room and say, this is unfair for you to say that. What do you talk like behind closed doors then, Troy? Are you just letting this thing fly when there aren't women present? Get out of here.
That's the thing. All right. Last thoughts here. And if you're not an Eagles fan, you stuck through it. Hey, that's how we are. That's what is Eagles fans. We're proud. Anything else you got on your mind here with the Tush Push?
No, I want them to run it 45 times against the Packers next season. You don't want to run it at all, but I want them to run it the whole drive. I want 25 plays in the first drive, 3 yards each.
I think the schedule came out. Are they hosting the Packers this year? They're hosting, right? They are. Oh, I can't pull up the schedule for some reason. The Packers to host the Eagles. No, that's unfortunate because I was going to say, boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's safe that way. But you know damn well in 2026, they got that in their minds, the Eagles fans, and they're going to let them have it. The Packers.
It was the Tush Push's fault that pretty boy Matt LaFleur scored 10 points.
Hey, if they had a Tush Push,
the Eagles scored 95 points in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl combined.
You know, Tyson, people are just trying to chop the Eagles down. They don't want to see them succeed. They don't want to see us succeed. But no, we're excited here as we get out of here. We got more stuff coming up with that. Vic Sirianni's in the news, but we'll break down some more NFL stuff. Just some news on that front. But Like I kind of mentioned, we are going to have the Eagles podcast coming out as we get closer and closer and through the summer and training camp, all that good stuff. So if you are an Eagles fan, you stayed with us, that'll be coming out. You'll be in the same feed. So stay subscribed so don't miss a single thing we do. And we'll talk to you when we talk to you. Peace.